All right, folks, welcome back to BEG Wrestling, and I want to bring in... All right, folks, welcome back to BEG Wrestling. We are here. Incredible show, monumental show here today.
Boy, I'll say.
That's right, folks.
I
Big
will
news.
say.
Big news here on BEG Wrestling. Today, we have officially surpassed 10,000 subscribers to the YouTube channel, folks. Can't thank you enough. Grateful for all the fans. I'm working, it happened so fast, folks, that I'm working on a 10K gift package. Haven't figured it out exactly, but I'm going to be putting something together for our fans. I mean, it's not every day you pass 10,000 subscribers, right?
Well, it took us, 2 years to get to 2. And it went from 2 to 10.
Boom!
Yeah.
10 days, basically. 10 days later.
I don't know.
So
I can't comprehend all that.
Folks, hey, and we got a lot of stuff.
I do know that trip to Iowa, maybe a lot of them fans are Iowa people.
We're going to be talking about Iowa. But in addition to that, dude, it's the meat of the season. March Madness is starting right now. And along with that, I'm starting our memberships, which is going to be a lot of exclusive live point of view access content at all these big stuff coming up here. So that's news to come within the week. So let's get right into it, right?
Well, can I start right out by thanking a particular Iowa guy? I know you probably thanked him last time. Stacy. Dude. Okay.
Thank you, Stacy.
You supplied the
Iowa
tickets.
Experience, folks.
Yeah, you supplied the tickets to Zach. You sat and watched this incredible duel, the Oklahoma State versus Iowa match with Zach. And then you give these to us, and I knew you were a cool dude because we've been texting for how long, and I just thought that was so good. Actually, a lot of times when I have my own bathroom, and I'll keep the outside of the toilet even clean. This will work really nice because
get out of here.
I can use the cleaning spray, and I don't get inside. I won't do that. It's not that kind of disrespect, but the outside of the toilet and stuff, yes. Nice texture to perfect. No.
Unbelievable. We're making a bet.
Stacey, I'm just kidding.
We're making a bet, and you're going to wear it if you lose that bet at some point
Whoa.
during this postseason March Madness. But, folks, listen, like and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, thank you. We appreciate all the support. Comment to join the conversation. We're reacting to everything, but then check out BEG, the store with some new Iowa swag in the BEG Sports store in the comments. Also, BEG Wrestling. We got some updated rankings out there, begwrestling.com. And then finally, USA Takedown Radio, folks. A little piece of the Iowa experience was the USA Takedown Radio.
By the way, can I stop you right there?
Go ahead.
I liked your episode or your appearance on there. When you went out to watch this duel in Iowa, you sat down with Scott Casper.
Yep.
And USA Takedown Radio, which I've always been a fan of. And Casper's such a pro, isn't he? I mean, he is a pro.
I learned some things. It was
He's got the whole voice thing going. Plus, he's got this relaxed demeanor about him. Actually, his whole team does. It seemed like it was probably fun to be in there.
Well, it was a learning experience, very much a learning experience because, dude, I got to see what a real radio talent and what real talented people, what it feels like.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they are so professional, dude. Like, they do it live, but it's like you would think it's pre-rehearsed almost. That's how smooth they go off each other. They just know, they feel when the other one speaks, all that kind of stuff. But it was fascinating.
Well, I know between that and I know, like that video, you thought while you're sitting in the stands, when Angelo gets the big win over Plot, you think, hey, maybe I should record this. You put it out there. Them two things were a big reason our subscribers just skyrocketed.
Yeah. That definitely helped. And, it was a cool perspective, I thought. And
it was. It really was.
Experiencing probably the biggest single match of the dual season this year. And
that you can make that case, no doubt. I can't wait to talk to Angelo. So we got to have him back on. I know you got to talk to him. I want to talk to him.
He'll be back on soon.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was incredible. But finally, real quick, join Wrestle Madness. They got a thing for the tournament here coming up. So that's exciting.
That leads us into, okay, I started this new job and I've been at it for 2 weeks now. And here, go ahead and if you want to get your violin out while I continue, go ahead. Look, Folks, this pushed me. All this learning, it's tough learning when you're an old man. And I'll tell you the honest truth, I unload my own trailers too. So, well, look at me. Okay. That pushed me a little bit too. So, okay, I'm no buttercup over here. I can handle it, but I was pushed to the limit. I didn't even get to play Madness the last week or two. My head was consumed. Like, I want to nail this down. And I'm really happy I got through the rough part.
You haven't been fired yet. Okay, that's great.
Hello. I got a great trainer, in case he's watching. I got a great trainer. And, the part of driving a truck, well, that comes, but you got the whole system to learn. And this is the grocery business. And, I mean, it's going to be a job that I like. Of course, it's 4 days a week.
They don't deal with no hacks, huh? You better.
No. Everybody I'm around is a real pro. And if you watch them back up a trailer into a real tight spot, these are real pros. Believe me. I'm humbled over there.
Okay, but
I'm one of the small dogs.
You survived,
yeah.
And we're going to be talking a lot, and kind of like Iowa versus Oklahoma State, we're also going to be talking about Spencer Lee Ono, the Anthony Knox stuff that's been going on, and then we finally here, very shortly, we got some huge breaking news. I should have started the show with it. We got breaking news here, folks. I won't spoil it here, but very shortly, some big-time BEG news, but let's get right into it. What was your thoughts of the Iowa-Oklahoma State duel? And the Angelo win and everything. You haven't been on since then. Okay,
the duel was incredible. It was everything we thought it would be. I think if you watch a previous episode of us, we said, this is going to come down to, does Angelo have enough to beat Plott? I think those exact words were used. And that ultimately was. But I got to give it to just not everyone, not across the board, but I thought, like Parco, I'm not including Parco here. When you get so close to getting bonus points and don't do that extra whatever it takes to get the bonus points, that's a check mark to me. And I'll tell you the truth, David Teller had his in Hamidi. I thought Hamidi wins that 8-1. Dude, what? You're in a duel that might be at that point, that might be the point you need to win. And that's the one thing I got to give Kale. Boy, he had them boys really searching for them bonus points. But between Caliendo and Buchanan.
You mean give Tom? You said give Kale.
Well, I gave Kale because Kale does such a good job with this. I'm kind of leading to giving Tom some credit on how Caliendo and Buchanan went out, not only won, but got bonus points, and even a tip of the hat to Nelson Brands, who prevented bonus points.
That was tight. That was close.
Against a very good wrestler. And the Brands had the Iowa ready. And as much as, I'll be honest, I didn't know who to root for there. I didn't, because as a Penn State guy, okay, both of them are the enemies. Can they possibly beat each other up while they're doing this? And
that's what I said on the radio. I said, listen, what's the real story here is the implications going forward, the recruiting wars here. As you see, Bo Bassett, Ferrari now might be the hottest two youngsters next year, and now all of a sudden both of them on Iowa. You saw the pick.
Yeah. The one part that David Taylor made the decision, and half of me kind of admires what he does. He got the big balls out. I'm going to throw this Sakamoto out against Ayala, and it could have looked like it was brilliant, or it could have looked like bad move. Well, it turned out it looked like a bad move because you also have like Whitcraft or
Whitcraft. I think he had
that's a little bit of slap to the face.
I think he had a trick up his sleeve, and it didn't.
Yeah, the trick didn't pan out, but that was his first. Somebody said that might have been Sakamoto's first folk style match.
Yeah, I don't think he's very familiar. Yeah, I mean, there's not. There's been a lot.
I don't know if I'm getting, but I don't know. Didn't have a feel of like a little bit of desperation. You're going to throw out a guy that's not wrestled a match.
No, I don't think that. No.
You believe in your man, Whitcraft. Or Hughes. Hughes looked good at times.
I think there
this
was
year,
some
too.
implications if Whitcraft lost that, though, it affecting him postseason. What was that?
That's true.
Yeah, that's
true.
why. That's why.
Okay.
But overall,
right.
hey, I got to say this,
buy
though.
that.
Iowa environment, incredible. The Iowa experience, I talked about before I went out to Iowa with UNI being the number one.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I got to drop number 2 after that. Iowa back to number 1. In-house, in-duel, in-meet experience. I mean, that was... that I got to thank all of Iowa. I mean, they were great hosts to me. They're very
I like
courteous
that
and
idea,
very,
by the way. The BEG Iowa experience. I liked how you put that together.
Yeah,
that was a good video.
Hey, it was a great weekend. I got to meet a lot of people, and it was fun. But then just a couple nights later, it was Spencer Lee Ono Card on Flow. Which let me start by saying, Flow, the production was incredible. What a well-produced event, I thought. Sparks and Piles on the call, but I thought overall, Bader coming out there
yeah.
The production I thought was very well done.
I've seen some highlights. I didn't get to watch it, apparently I didn't get to see all the matches. There were some good matches.
David Carr looked incredible with a big win there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really the takeaway. That was the match.
Silver medalist.
I'll say this: my takeaways, the 3 high school matches were absolutely fire. Okay, and I don't know, high schoolers just they go for it more. I don't know. All 3 of those high school matches were fire. David Carr looked incredible, and the great production by Flo, and then kind of a downer the Spencer Ono match with no takedowns, the 3-2, but.
You can look back now afterwards and say, you know what we should have did? We should have had but we can make up our own rules here. This is our event. A takedown you only win with a takedown. So if nobody gets a takedown, we got a 3-2 score off of push-outs, we continue because a takedown has to be involved just to avoid that. But you don't anticipate that happening, especially with them too. I wouldn't have called that. I'd say absolutely we're going to see some takedowns here, but
yeah, I think my overall takeaway from that match was Ono's strength. I don't think anyone saw Ono's strength coming there. Everyone, Spencer's been heralded for so long for being so strong, and then Ono really won that match by bullying him around.
Folks, I don't know nothing here, so you guys know more than I do. So this is just guesswork here, but this whole Ono spending his whole winter over in the U.S. at Penn State. Heck, now we even see him with a Hawkeye wrestling club shirt. Okay. What's the chances this guy ends up going to college in America? What do you think?
Well, first of all, let me clarify. You know that the Hawkeye shirt was photoshopped one, right?
Oh, was it? Was it Photoshop?
You know that, dude.
No, I didn't.
You sent me that.
Oh, you can't believe anything in this world anymore.
That was Photoshop.
I was so mad. I seen that tag on. What the heck's going on?
Oh my goodness! No.
I already thought, man, this is Penn State's little, feather in the cap.
No.
We're gonna break out.
Yeah, it is Penn State's feather in the cap. He shouts out Bo Nickel there. I mean, that was crazy, Bo Nickel, and it's almost like you're coaching against the USA, but. Really, he's recruiting Ono. I mean, we all know that, right?
He spent too long in the cult. It's in his blood now. So, yeah, Penn State. Yeah, we're going to get Ono, baby.
Unbelievable. That's what it looks like. That's what I read. I made a post.
I
posted a poll, actually, on our X, Twitter, and our YouTube, and I think the YouTube showed, I said, does this mean that Ono's going to Penn State? Actually, it was like 60-40 that he's not. This does not mean. But then I think the X was like 51%. Yes.
I didn't see the interview you spoke of there.
Well, I was worried. Just thanked Bo Nickel and
Zane.
And Zane.
Yeah.
And said how great of coaches they were. It's like, oh, okay. All right.
We can't communicate, but they were really nice to me.
I can't communicate, but I know their names very, very well.
I will say, yeah, he's the real deal. No doubt. And I'll tell you something else. I'm going to just say it. Spencer Lee's a Pennsylvania guy. We're Pennsylvania guys. So I love Pennsylvania guys even more. So I've always thought highly of Spencer Lee. Since college has been over, what he's done, I have to be honest, Zach, my opinion's gone up a little bit.
Yeah.
He is absolutely is the
wrestling a
real
lot.
deal.
He's wrestling all the time. Every opportunity he gets.
The brands might have overspoke when they said he's the greatest wrestler of all time, any century, any country. That might be over the top because this world's had so many incredible wrestlers. But I have an understanding how the brands end up saying such a thing because Spencer is for real, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I just like the fact he's wrestling a lot. Like I wish more wrestlers. Like I heard someone say how many times he's wrestled just in the past how many months, and he's wrestling a lot. Like,
well, you have to give it to him just to go do an event like that. How many times are we kind of scolding the wrestlers out there? Here you have this gift, and then you worked all this work to polish this gift to be shiny and beautiful, and you don't even wrestle. So you see a guy like Spencer Lee that'll take on a card, and the thing is ultimately we want Flo or whoever's holding these cards to make money because no one didn't enjoy the card. That happened at the great time on a Wednesday midweek. Nothing's going on. Wrestling night in America. What a great thing. Now, obviously, Flo's got to make some money here, or they can't continue.
I read somewhere it cost him $300,000 for that event, including paying all the wrestlers. That includes production, paying all the wrestlers. I'll say this, though. Maybe my only critique would be, like, I would have done it Sunday night, dude. There's no football right now. I think that's part of the reason the Iowa-Oklahoma State was so huge. It was Sunday night with no NFL. Like, there's no sports on. Like,
no, wait, I thought the actual event happened on a Wednesday.
Yeah, the flow card. I said my only critique would have been they should have done it on a Sunday night.
Okay, now I follow you.
Because I mean,
I'll say one last thing is a matchup. Forget about having two pros going at it or something. Just a matchup is going to intrigue people. Sort of the Jake Paul effect. And I often said, I joked with Christian Piles and said, why don't you take on a guy that it's going to be a close match. You're not going to get hurt. I don't know. What is Christian now? Is he 40 years old, 30,
he's
35?
About my age.
Yeah.
And
that's tough when you start wrestling at 40. Yeah, you're going to be hurt.
You ain't trying to do that, dude, because you don't need a permanent injury.
Yeah, Christian Piles against somebody that's been, maybe smack talking them. Well, I'm telling you, interest comes just...
I'm starting.
No, forget that. I had the perfect addition to this card to even bring it up, and that's Elor against
Kennedy.
Oh my goodness! My goodness! That would have been to me. That would have been as big as Ono against Lee. I mean, I would love to see that match.
Kennedy's in the middle of her season, so maybe that's probably why. But talking about maybe moving on to the end of some seasons, like the New Jersey State Tournament. I don't know if you've seen Anthony Knox DQ'd after a brawl.
Yes.
Then reinstated after a hearing, and he goes on to become a four-timer. He wins it in a very elite club. Not a lot of four-timers, New Jersey State champs. But what are your takeaways from all
I got to
this?
hold myself back from one of my dad's speeches here. But here's the first thing, folks. My dad would have got mad at me if I went into the set. What, you're going to 120-pound you are going to come and protect me? Really? Oh, my dad would have been livid at me for breaking the rules, coming in the stands, and that whole thing. I'm here to protect my family. Anthony says, dude, your dad's not going to die in the stands from someone beating him to the pulp. Your dad looked like he can handle himself pretty well, although he can't handle his inner self because get a hold of yourself. What are you doing? What are you doing? And I know you probably have a video to show where, there was a lot of people, they were trying to egg it on. Yeah, it's called life. People do that. When you're successful, other people try to pull you down.
That's part of the game.
Dude, what? I'm going to fight him. Dude, I hate to say this, but at some point you got to reach a maturity level that I'm a little wiser than that.
Well, you mentioned how if you're the dad, you're angry at him for coming in the stands to defend you. Like, dude, what are you going to do? If I'm the son, I'm mad at the dad saying, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, I got a ride at Cornell on the line, and what are you doing? Like, you need to grow up, Dad.
Yeah, yes. And you mean the dad talking to Anthony?
No, I'm saying, Anthony, I'm talking to you, Dad.
Oh, I absolutely.
Act like a child.
I absolutely. And I think the dad has an angle where he could be mad at the son in the sense that, son, all them trips I drove you to practice, all that work that you put in, but time and effort and money I put in, and you're going to break the rules just like this. Of course, you learn from who's leading you. And Dad, if you're in the stands there having a fight over someone just mouthing off, which is absolutely ridiculous.
I'll say this. I saw some people say it doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. No, it means something. It definitely means, thank goodness, I guess it doesn't affect his ride to Cornell. But people out there saying this means nothing. It's just a fight. It's nothing. No, it is something, dude. It's something because...
Yeah, it's a look into how the kid was raised. And
it's definitely something. It's not nothing.
And you know what? The Knoxes could sit down and give me the full story because we don't know the full story. And at the end, we could say, wow, I can really understand why you were upset. It still doesn't make any sense why you just don't get up and walk away or whatever. Recognize that people were probably jealous of what your son's doing there, and they're just they're picking at that scab.
Yeah.
And it's like, at some point you gotta, I don't know. I didn't understand that.
Well, that's the other thing.
I didn't understand.
You're talking about the little TikTok that the high schoolers made mocking him?
Yeah.
Oh, they're just as bad.
Yo,
let me tell you, my son is making a video like that.
What he did.
It is. It's all just as bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like as mad as my son is in that video.
It's like
what are you doing?
My child dad in the stands. This group of children over here that are supposed to be college kids or older. I don't know. The whole thing. In the end, it's like this. There's rules if you fight. And apparently them rules aren't black and white. And I never liked that either. And he said, well, we made exception on the rule because some really ugly words were used over here and stuff. Dude, I don't know. Call me old time traditionalist. I like it black and white. You break this, boom. I'm not saying that people don't deserve a second chance or anything like that. And I mean, nobody got hurt or anything.
He got a second chance, and he took advantage of it 4-timer going to Cornell. And
I guarantee one thing: I bet you there's some coaches out there saying, "I'm glad I didn't recruit that kid because
Mike Gray is not one of them.
There's a smell that surrounds that whole like what's coming my way."
Mike Gray is not one of them, but
Anthony
Knox 4-timer.
Oh, Cornell.
In addition to that,
I wonder how Kevin feels. I wonder if it upset him because he's a big Cornell guy. And like he's going to Penn State, I would have been extra angry. I would have been angry at the dad. I would have been angry at Anthony. I would have been angry at anyway.
Yeah, we get it. You would have been angry. But who's not angry, dude? Vince Coleman. Vince Coleman who just qualified for the state tournament.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And this is the kind of guy that you can look up to. And, this wasn't like he's just cruising through and he's got the upper body strength. He's just like he lost and then came back to make it to states. You see
so true grit.
Yeah, it's grit. And we get to see that a lot in this sport. And it's all over the place. And examples right and left where there are people, they just inspire you. And
yeah, that's a cool story there, Vince Coleman. But folks, we got some huge BEG news here coming momentarily. But one of the next things we're going to talk about, seeding is not out for conferences yet, but we can more than likely anticipate the big matchups that are going to happen. So I don't know. You got your big, your top 5 big expected matchups in conferences here. You want to give us your top 5?
Well, my 5 most anticipated matchups of all the conferences, number one to me is absolutely O'Toole against Hamidi. I'm fascinated by this because we got the element of O'Toole's been out.
Yep.
Is he at his best? And he's may have to be at his best to beat Hamidi. Hamidi's the real deal. And Hamidi, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's a senior. This is his last try. I could be wrong there, folks. I could have WrestleStat or something open and find out like that, but I'm pretty sure.
I'll put his stats up.
But anyway, I originally predicted that both Lovett and Hamidi never win a title, and two of the best wrestlers we've seen this decade. I still kind of think that way. I think O'Toole wins, but I think that's going to be an incredible, entertaining match. O'Toole against Hamidi. My next match involves the same X2, and that would be Starachi.
Before you go into that, hold on. Let's hold that real tight, real quick, because, folks, we're going to take a very quick 15-second break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back. We got some breaking, huge BEG news here we're
right.
going to talk about, and then we'll give you the remaining 4 Big 5 matchups to look forward to here at conferences. So we'll be right back, folks.
Now, on BEG Wrestling, a members-only club featuring custom badges and emojis, monthly members-only meetings, and exclusive access. Display your pride in a unique way. Discuss the direction of wrestling. Influence what we talk about and cover. Join now to help support the future growth of BEG Wrestling.
All right, folks, welcome back to BEG Wrestling, and I want to bring in Dom Zacconi, folks. Welcome to BEG Wrestling. He's going to be joining the BEG team, folks. Campbell Wrestling's Dom Zacconi. That's right. That's right. We're growing. We're expanding. We hit 10,000 subscribers. We got to bring in some real heavy artillery. Folks. Hey, Dom Zacconi's already proven himself. Dom, how you doing?
Whoa, 10.5. 10.5. You can't forget about that 0.5.
Hey, that's right. 10.5 subscribers. So, hey, that's just with his name being on the title.
Dom, I got to ask you right out of the gates, okay?
Let's hear it, mister.
Are you a Godfather fan?
I am.
Okay, you know in The Godfather, they say Michael Corleone. They say it a certain way. Has anybody kind of said Dom Zacconi?
That's how it's pronounced.
Oh, really?
Zacconi.
Oh, dude, you gotta get
Dom Zacconi. I love that part of the movie.
Mr. Wade,
I love that part of The Godfather.
Still lives in Italy, in Sicily, on the island.
Get out of here.
Wow.
Where do you? Yep, my second cousin's part of the family. You know, his third, fourth, fifth cousin. They're all part of the family.
You just got put on the bad list, dude. Dude, wow, that is incredible, man. I was just literally not. Where are you living at now, though?
So I'm still in North Carolina right now. I'm actually, believe it or not, right now I am outside of the card shop. So we have customers inside right now buying, selling, trading cards in there, and running out here on the podcast.
Wow, that's awesome, man. But yeah, I mean, let's just tell everyone kind of where you're at, because you're getting ready to graduate, right? You're getting your master's in business.
Correct.
Yeah, what are you looking like?
So
I guess. Go ahead.
Last 6 years, I've been in college. Have a good one. The last 6 years, I've been in college. Graduated 2 years ago with a degree in sports management, and then decided to do the master's program of business. I've always been an entrepreneur, business minded, and so now I have 8 weeks left of an online class. Believe it or not, 8 weeks left in an online class, and then I'll be done with college and classes for the rest of my life.
Okay,
Wow.
so what's your immediate plans afterwards? I mean, you're going to be joining us here on BEG, but are you going to be staying living there? Like, what's your job, career aspirations?
Yeah, so I've always, been. Some people are super set on what they want to do all the time. I've always been an open-minded person. Want to try out a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to try out a whole bunch of stuff? Your life also changes so much. You never really know. One day you might be thinking you're going to be a firefighter. Next thing you know, you're a policeman. You never know what's going to happen. And I think that's kind of what's going around with me right now. I've met so many great people along the way, including you guys, and Campbell alumni have been a super big help and stuff like that. So I think finding a job that suits me right, whether it's a business related job. I'm fixing to start up my own wrestling facility out here in North Carolina and bring some of that Midwest kind of to North Carolina. And what I've been hearing, this is, I've been getting the insights recently. What I've been hearing is that they're good up in the mountains. They got some good kids up in the mountains here in North Carolina, and we're not in the mountains. I'm not in no mountains, so we're gonna have to bring some good wrestling down to the tri-state area, the Triangle, here, and kind of develop it a little more. You know what I mean?
Breaking news there.
Well, and the thing is you get coaching kids like that. We're all big, all three of us, huge wrestling fans. But let's be real. Kind of the younger you get, the more exciting it gets. Like, you get where they're so used to every position in D1 college that sometimes it's predictable what's happening. Boy, you go down in some of them lower levels, or you go to high school, you're going to see things you didn't see coming.
Well, to mention that, did you have a chance to watch like the Spencer Ono card? That full card, there was 3 high school matches, Dom, that I thought were arguably the most 3 exciting matches of the whole.
Yeah, the one
card.
from I believe the kid was from. Correct me if I'm wrong. Big Game, I want to say, where he got the last. It was like the last second head pinch there to go up and win that match, which is super exciting. You know what I mean? You put yourself in that situation, and what I kind of saw in his face is like, he looked like, okay, this is possible, and then did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kind of caught himself off guard, and it just goes to show you that every second counts in them wrestling matches, especially on a big stage like that. So that was super exciting. That was one that stood out to me, at least.
Yeah.
Well, not every
that
kid.
card.
Not every kid, but a lot of times kids get to the college level and you get a little bit of that, I already know everything. They become tougher to coach. And sometimes, like you're saying about starting a wrestling, there is nothing more fun than having a young kid that's listening to your every word. And it's almost like a remote control playing a video game. They're doing everything. There was times when my sons would lose, and I tried to be straight up with them. I told them that's my loss, because they were at that point. They didn't become 12 years old and where they knew everything.
I think a big part of like wrestling and like parents and at least older generations of how I grew up too. It's always been, wrestle tough, wrestle hard. We're going to do hard stuff all the time. And I little one mat room I grew up in wrestling. But I think a lot, it's fun. It's changed. It's fun now. It's a game. Not every kid wrestles the same. I think back in the day, coaches tried to make, every kid wrestle the way they wrestled, and so on and so forth, whether it's break your opponent, stuff like that. Everyone has their own set of unique tools. Everyone's body is different, can do different things. Their legs can bend different ways.
That's true.
So it's hard to, you can obviously show stuff that you know and learned. But I think every single kid is going to be a unique wrestler themselves. And they're just going to kind of have to learn that with the help of a coach. You know what I mean? So that's at least what I think, as in the aspect role of that.
Well, Dom, we got some insight. I had the opportunity to interview Coach Sintes last week, and he gave us some insight into kind of his coaching and how he's kind of tailoring things towards like postseason. Let me ask you about like your relationship with Coach Sintes, and is his coaching model something that you are going to look to utilize and replicate in your own coaching career?
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know this, but they call me Mini Sentes.
I did not know that. Nuh-uh.
You start hanging out with the guy too much, and you start looking like him, acting like him, talking like him. It's a Central Michigan thing. It must be. It's passed down all through it. But when I first got to Campbell, Coach Sentes was not. You always have kind of that that coach that is your coach. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna get individuals with this guy, and kind of my style relates to his well. Me and Coach Sentes didn't really get that until about 3 years in. I think it was my third year into Campbell, and that's when, he took over as my coach. And ever since that, we've really created that bond. Um, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm definitely gonna take over some of the stuff that Coach Sanchez has on the
Steal
table
shamelessly.
into some of my own. But it's kind of I did the math the other day. I've had 12 different coaches on coaching staff throughout my college career. That's a lot to learn from. You know what I mean? Having two programs, 12 different coaches. It's a lot to take in, and you kind of pick from each one of them. But Coach Sentes has been my main guy for a while now, and I'm definitely going to be taking some of his coaching aspects into my own game. But it's a little different, you know what I mean? Because I'm looking to develop kids to send them to Coach Sentes and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yep.
that. You know what I mean? So then, because I already know what he can do and how he can develop kids and the coaching staff. Because they're already at that level. It's just kind of getting them prepared for that level when they're young and stuff like that.
Well, let me back up just a second, just so I know more about you. How many siblings do you have?
Siblings?
Siblings.
One sibling, all right? And ready for this? His name is Joseph, okay? Starts with a
Yeah,
J.
baby.
Wow.
Starts with a
Older,
J. Ready for
younger?
this, okay? Italian family Zacconi. I had all my cousins and aunts all start with the J. Joseph, Jen, Jennifer, Janine, Jake, Jason, Jory. They all have
Wow.
J's.
Except for
Yeah,
you,
you know what I get put with? A D. I get
because you're the
Dominic.
Don. The Don Dom. Oh, dude. Oh, wow. I
What?
knew
You know
I
what's so
liked you for
funny?
some reason,
Did
Sanchez,
Dom.
Joseph wrestle also?
no, he never was a wrestler. He's a very good baseball player. Very good baseball
Okay.
player.
Okay, but don't
Yeah,
you
he's
live in
big.
what, like
They,
Chicago now? Or no?
yeah, they're in the Chicago suburb area, down south.
Your
Um,
family's that's what I meant. Yeah.
yes, everyone is close to 6 feet tall. All dark hair. Big Italians, and then they pop me out at 5'4", blonde hair. I don't know what happened. You
Now,
know what I mean?
did he stay in touch real close, a mentor of sorts or whatever, with your wrestling? Like, he ever call you up and kind of scold you out? You wrestled like a girl there, Dom. What's going on?
And
Or anything like
Joseph
that?
never. He was only watched wrestling when he was forced to come see me watch,
Of course, I say
come wrestle
wrestle
and
like a
stuff like
girl. I
that.
got to take that back. I've seen some girls wrestle that
Yeah, you
just
better watch what
We
you say there. Dom, I got a question.
they impressed me.
Yeah, listen. Dom, we were just talking about Anthony Knox and some of the stuff he's going through. I don't know if you saw the New Jersey State tournament, him and his dad getting into fights. There's a
Yep.
lot of rumors of big mob ties out there in New Jersey.
Get
I'm
outta
just
here.
thinking out
Are you
loud.
serious?
I'm just thinking out loud. You know what I mean? Family to family.
Somebody's been watching
Family to family, like does your family
Sopranos
maybe
or
know the
something
Knox
too much.
family? You guys, would you approve of that kind of behavior in high school, or
So
because you're
this
going
is
to be
how I
coaching
see
some
the
of these kids, right?
situation.
What's that?
This is how I see the situation. Your family always means, number one to you, and that's your family, and honestly, family you meet along the way that you never knew was family until they became part of your life. And the thing is, our actions take over very, very fast because we're in the sport of wrestling and we're very, physical. Some situations you just kind of gotta let know. You got to take it somewhere else. You know what I mean? If you gotta take care of business like this, you got to take care. And our actions just kind of let go, let loose. And it puts us in jeopardy. And I know he said that family over everything, but he's got so many. He's probably 18, 19 years old, somewhere around that time. And
I think he's 18.
we've seen it happen before, and stuff just goes wrong that you don't plan to, even though you had good intentions. Um, and that situation, it just sucks because you know what I mean. What do you do? It's a tough one. Like if someone was talking to me, like you say something, or go confront them. Being at the wrestling event and having a lot on the line, fourth state title, it's pretty important. I think there was only less than 10 people that have ever done it in the state of New Jersey too. Um, Maybe that's something you take outside and handle. away from the cameras and people. You
Yeah,
know?
that's probably the best advice I've heard anyone say. Why don't you just take it outside, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
that's what
I always
you
think
always
back
used
to
to say?
Gilman, man. Gilman says if you want to fight, take it. We're wrestling when we go out on the mat, but if you want to fight, take it out somewhere else. But he always says if you can't beat him on the mat, you probably can't beat him in a fight.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you mentioned Gilman. He was
Well-
at the Iowa-Oklahoma State duel. Dom, did you have a chance to watch that? You got any thoughts on
oh
that
yeah,
duel?
we were watching it on the way home from our App State duel. It was funny because I only caught the first I think 5 weights when we were in the car, and then when I got home, I missed 165, and then when I got home, I finally put it on the TV, the end of 74, and the rest on, and holy cow, does that make wrestling exciting? Watching events like that, especially when it's back and forth. You know what I mean? And every little point matters. Every tech fall, every one extra point matters. Every you where you can't give up majors and pins and stuff like that, and then the little overtime matches, they all matter. So it was super super exciting, and I honestly thought Oklahoma State was going to have it sealed away. You know what I mean? Especially getting close to heavyweight. So I'm fine. I'm now becoming a spectator of the sport, so it's a lot different to kind of react and watch wrestling, because compared to you used to watch wrestling, at least when you're an athlete, more so to learn. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what's this guy doing that I can maybe try, or stuff like that. Um, but now it's kind of like a spectator. You're like, oh my, that was exciting to watch that duel. But yeah.
Okay, what's your biggest win of your career? We
My
seen
biggest-
the Van D win earlier this year. That was big, right? That's
Yeah.
got to be in your top 5 or something.
Yep. So I've beaten a few All Americans before they were All Americans. I've beaten a few top 10 dudes that were top 10. At the time that they were top 10. Um, my biggest or most exciting? Biggest win, that Van D match was big. I had a match against a guy from Arizona State, Klebo, back in the day. That was really really big. Beat some All Americans that were big before. That was a fun one. When I was in Oregon State, it was my first year in the lineup, and it was just coming back from like COVID. So like Oregon State has a pretty good fan base. You know what I mean? So like they kind of filled up the place, and it was just against Campbell, and I went out there and beat the guy, and he ended up placing at Cliff Keen All American in that year at 33.
Beaver fans run deep.
But
yeah.
That one was cool because it was out in the baseball field, and honestly, the circumstances sucked. I wish it could have been a little better, and maybe inside or something like that, because I was feeling so amazing. You know what I mean? That day, some days you just feel it, and that I could not get in my stance without slipping on that mat. But
Yeah, I
I
remember
finally
you talking-
pulled the trigger and just let it go, and I was confident enough to get in and kind of finish there.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Dom, we're going to get to know you over the course of every week over the upcoming, but I want to get back to and hang with us, because he's going to give us his top 5 biggest matchups, expected matchups here, the conference seeding, and then just a couple other notes here to close out the show. But I'm going to give my picks, and why don't you go ahead and give your picks? So start back. Why don't you bring it back to number 1, who you talked about there?
Yes, and by the way, Dom, we highly recommend that you get involved with Wrestle Madness. Talk about fun. You go, you make the picks. Doesn't cost you anything, but you get that little boost, your little pride boost. After I got a couple wins. I got 3 wins. Do you got any wins?
Or you get
Zach?
shots in the gut.
You got any? Yeah, I bombed.
Shots in the gut.
Go ahead.
I've not been talking about it, but I've been
Dude, you
thinking
gotta
about
do
it.
Yes, it's fun.
Honestly, well, I'm still a college athlete, so there's no gambling on the line right now. But after I'm done,
it's all free.
It's all free.
I think it would be very very smart for wrestling, especially maybe with the pro cards too that they got going on. I mean, Claw's up and coming too and stuff like that. But if you could really get a how do I put it? Baseball's so long, it kind of drags out sometimes. It's super exciting in some parts, but it's very long, boring sometimes. When you're gambling on it, it makes it very exciting. If your parlays are going to hit, stuff like that. If you could add that into wrestling and, you know what I mean, within the matches or total matches, you know what I mean? Oh, what team's going to win? How many points are they going to win by? Under or over? How many takedowns are going to be in this match? How many takedowns are going to be the whole,
Did you ever watch?
duel
You
as a
ever look at
total?
Madness? Like you got to pick whether it's a major, a decision, a tech.
Oh, there you
Like
go.
that's
Yeah.
part of it. Yeah, that's part
Yeah.
of it. It's no doubt that's fun. But here is the thing, folks. We have some incredible wrestling coming this weekend.
That's right.
And I am
Conference
so
championships.
ready. I'm so ready. Dom, I know you're ready.
Seating.
To me, if somebody says, Dom, I'd like to hear what yours is, I want to know what is the single biggest matchup that's happening this weekend. To me, that was tough to pick. But to me, it came down to I cannot wait to see O'Toole against Hamidi. I can't wait to see that match.
He talked about it right before we brought Dom
What do
on.
you think, Dom? What's your top anticipated matchup? And then also, what do you think of the O'Toole against Hamidi?
I really am excited for this is going to be kind of broad. I'm really excited for the 149-pound division in the Big Ten and how it unfolds. I think there is a lot of studs in that weight class right there. And it's kind of just who's going to show up that day. That weight class is going to be pretty big in the Big Ten at least. And then I don't know if y'all know this, but Hamidi is from Illinois.
Okay.
So
Illinois kid. You know about him then, huh?
So DJ has always been right there. You know what I mean? I've seen him. I've watched him get super big and wrestle all these big guys and very, very talented. I've seen him when he was super little, probably 70 pounds or whatever it is. And the thing that I've always seen with DJ is he is so good. He is able to dominate all these dudes. You know what I mean? Ranked number 5 to number 10 to number 20. I've never really seen him get it done against the top guys. And I really think with the coaching change and kind of his mindset and transferring to Oklahoma State, I think he's different this year. I really do think he's one of those top dudes that is in question of being one of them dogs.
Okay.
And if he doesn't let the pressure get to him and he takes it as another normal match, I could see DJ doing very, very well and coming out on top. Honestly,
Well, the other question is,
especially with O'Toole not wrestling for a while.
I was gonna say,
You know?
is he
That's the
fully
thing.
up to stamina?
That's
Is he fully
it's
healthy?
a little bit of a mystery of just how. Now I know he came back. He's wrestled once or twice. They said he looked good. I haven't been able to see it. I think it was a tech or whatever. And obviously we're talking about Keenan O'Toole, so we're talking about the real deal here. But that's just one of them matchups where I have no clue how this is going to go.
Looking forward
I'll tell
to
you
it.
that I'm sure. Okay, that's my number one. The next one I have, I didn't know which one to write: Strachey against Arnold or Strachey against McAnally, and it's also a kind of a twist there. We don't know, and we won't know until Thursday at 12:30 because they actually have that long to have final entries in the Big Ten on whether it's actually going to be Arnold. Now we all anticipate it's going to be Arnold, not Angelo, but really replace Arnold with Angelo, I'm still as intrigued. But Strachey against Arnold, just because of the talk that's happened, the build up. But really, the one I'm really looking forward to is Strachey against McAnally, which would
the undefeated freshman McAnally, and also say live Thursday seating show coming to you folks on BEG Wrestling. But go ahead, what's your thoughts, Dom?
It is so exciting, especially seeing the young talent. And for the Iowa situation, like as much as you want to see it and Ferrari go out there, I think it's smart he redshirts this year. You know what I mean? All those top dogs are gone. You know what I mean? He'll be able to wrestle them on the freestyle circuit. I'm sure of it. That they'll be at the same weights and wrestling, and you know what I mean. But he's got a red shirt. You know what I mean? Use it. I honestly just see Strachey kind of handling these dudes, even though he's up a weight class. He's maybe not tech falling them and really dominating them, but he's just he's been there before. This is fifth
Dom,
time
I
being
don't
there.
want to come off the subject, but did you ever redshirt?
Yes, my first year at the University of Illinois is where I took my red
that
shirt.
had to be one of the toughest things you've ever experienced. So we're thinking about Angelo. He just
Have a
had
good one,
this
guys.
big win. Let's say he keeps the shirt on. He's got a little tough thing to go through here because he's
what's that
jumping
redshirt
at the bit
experience like?
to prove to the world I'm ready now. And here you're going to have to sit and watch. That had to be tough for you, Dom. How'd that year go for you? The year you redshirted?
It was actually funny because we were redshirting Travis Piotrowski was our 125. That the following years he was 4 or 5 years older than me. Senior, he was going to take a redshirt year, but he was redshirting up at 133. So we had a hole at Illinois at 133, and where kids were at the time. I was the only 133 pounder. Excuse me. Kind of on the team because everyone was at their weight class. So I was like, oh man, I might be starting out the gate. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Come to be it, Travis actually had an amazing year and did not. He pulled his red shirt. Unfortunately, COVID happened at the end of that season. So kind of it worked out in my favor because of redshirting and COVID. It allowed me to mature, at least that year. Nowadays, you see kids coming in ready to go, ready to rock. I needed that time to mature, which a lot of kids and people around my time also did. Like, you didn't see too many guys coming in and starting right away. Kind of needed that time to mature. I was very injury prone that year. So I had up and down battles trying to wrestle as much as I could. I was just kind of going after it in the practice room, the weight room, but didn't get as many matches in. I think I was only 4, 5, 6, 7 matches in that first year, where usually kids are getting 20 as a redshirt freshman. Now there's different rules.
And the whole you mentioned injury. Well, okay, that takes a lot of the sting out of it. Now you got an Angelo who's healthy, as far as we know, completely healthy. I'm just saying that's got to be tough. My next matchup, I'm with Dom. This whole 149. Now I don't know how this ends up getting seeded. A lot of people think that Lovett may get the top seed. Some people think Van Ness will get the top seed. But let's say we have Van Ness against Parco again in one semi, and Lovett's up top. I don't know. Ultimately, I have Lovett versus Van Ness written down. Now, everybody says, what? That's not one of the good matchups. Lovett dominated him. No, he did not. No, he did not, Dom. That was a close match. You seen that match? Lovett against Van Ness? That match was very...
You could get majored and still be a close match with how the point scoring system works.
Boom.
You know what I mean? You could get close to tech ball and almost be winning the match the whole time,
Yes. So that is one of my...
That's
and I'd like to hear what your... My last of the top 5. No,
Go on, Zach, what do you think?
Dude, huh?
Well,
Zach, what do you think at that weight
I think
class?
Lovett had the best of him, but would I be shocked if Van Ness comes out and beats Lovett? No, not at all.
Yeah.
Especially the way Van Ness has been looking.
Yeah.
Van Ness looks like that might have inspired him. That might have been the best thing for him.
Old Coach Sentez has a little of this too. Now, I don't think it's his reputation is as big as Kale, but having his guys peak at the end of the year. Am I wrong there, Dom?
Yeah, I think it's
Coach
everyone's goal
Sentez has had such success at Campbell and previously. It's like he's got the knack of knowing how to get guys to peak at the right time.
Well, let me tell you this. It's a little different, especially conference to conference. In the Big Ten, you got to think about it. At the end of the year, all their guys are beat up and going through it because of how tough that schedule is. The quality of opponent you're getting week after week, literally probably 2 and 1 in the same weekend as well. You know what I mean? Whereas being from the SoCon and we start that schedule early for getting all those tough matches and stuff because we have to. The SoCon, you can't take it lightly either, but it's not the same as the Big Ten. I'll tell you that much. It's not the same as the Big Ten. So you kind of got to learn. It is a little bit of a break and kind of get you a little hungry again for them top matches. But you got to train right through it. You got to train right through it where these guys are getting, beat up week after week, tough match after tough match. It's a different schedule.
I think there's some history there from Sintas and Cunningham, right? Don't they have history?
Yeah,
Casey Cunningham and Coach
wasn't
Sintas. Maybe they share some similar style coaching. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I bet you
that's
everything
everything that comes out of Central Michigan is the same. You know what I mean? They're all the same.
Campbell's my number 2 team now.
Is it?
Yeah. And I never had number 2. It was number 1, and all the rest are garbage. No, not garbage. Not garbage. No, I hate all the rest. No, it's not that either. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know what you're trying. You got a little spot in your heart for Campbell. You know what I mean?
I do. I do. Yeah. That one of the funnest experiences of my life was me and Zach went down to Florida, watched you boys wrestle, called it. Never did that before. I did some fun things. Once, Dom, he paid for me to drive a Lamborghini at Pocono Downs. That was fun, Zach. Yeah, but here's where that was. Here was where calling Campbell matches was. That's how much I like that. Oh, anyway, my last match.
Hey, Mr. Wayne, guess what? You missed out on the wrestle off too.
I know.
I know.
But I'm glad he wasn't because
I'm busy. I'm busy over here trucking. He's having a party. Somebody's got to go to work around here. And I mean, he's down there with Iowa watching Oklahoma State, and I'm busy sweating, unloading the trailer, thinking, "Daggone kid makes me sick. Daggone kids need to learn a thing too about work." That's what I
took advantage of. Sounds like we need to put him through some wrestling practice. You know what I mean?
Hey, I've been through a couple.
I think we should put him through a conditioning workout. I think is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to. Go ahead. What's your final matchup?
My final matchup: Gable against Kirk Levitt. Now you say, "Oh, that's ridiculous. That's over. That may be a tech." Okay. Obviously, Gable was very good. By the way, I'm a little bitter. Call me bitter. Coming. Maybe possibly taking my guy, Kirk Levitt's second title away because he wants to come back down to college. Dude. See, Dom, my beef is I'm a little bitter. USA needed him. We could have used a gold medal that last Olympics and didn't want to play with the big boys no more. Okay, that's a little rough. That's a little brash. But I'll go back down to by the way, we have a video where...
I guess he's not even eligible to wrestle in the upcoming Olympics.
Yeah, right? I'm not even sure if he even did the right paperwork to be wrestling college again.
Why does Gable Steveson have another year?
I think it was marketing purposes.
Yeah. I contacted the NCAA about this.
Really?
I contacted them to find out if they had approved an Olympic redshirt year for Gable Steveson. Listen to how they worded this. They said, Chael, we cannot confirm for you that there was ever an application turned in on Gable Stevenson's behalf for an Olympic redshirt year. And by the way, he would be eligible for an Olympic year, but you have to file that after the fact. And according to the NCAA, that paperwork was never turned in.
Interesting. I think that if you're not Penn State, you pretty much can make it work for whatever you need to make happen because they want to make the sport more entertaining and competitive in some way. Because if we just win all 10 weights, then it's like, come on, what's the point?
Bo was saying, or not, who was it?
Chael Sonnen.
It was Chael Sonnen, yes. I don't know. Look, I understand what's going on here. He's a big draw. A lot of people think he's the greatest heavyweight they've ever watched. And I appreciate his skills. I do. I'm not the biggest fan that the path he took. I don't know all about the history and stuff. I'm not even going to get into that. But I think, yes, Gable, it'd be truly shocking for Kirk Levitt to. He's probably may have two chances.
I got Kirk.
Is that right? I mean, look at that. I'm telling you.
And they create stuff out of Penn State there, and he's a massive human being. I think if he really does believe in himself and trust, he could be on that level. I really do think so, especially in folk style. it's a lot different. The freestyle circuit and stuff like that, it gets a lot different. But that folk style circuit, like I truly do believe that he can get it done. And we've seen Gable have close matches before. No, you're all good.
We have. That's
We
interesting.
got
That
some
makes me
people
more
coming up right
excited
now.
for it.
I respect the fact that there's a lot of Penn State or former wrestlers that believe that, and when they say, I absolutely believe Kirk Levitt can beat Stevenson, you can tell they're being genuine.
Well, and you've seen him firsthand this year, Gable Stevenson, that is, Dom, when he wrestled Tag
He's a big boy.
Gadiali. So
Yeah,
he is
He's a big boy.
Kirk
I'm gonna be
also,
honest.
as you mentioned,
He
big
moves
boy.
very, very fast too.
the
The speed he has is insane.
Yeah, but
That's
that's
what
the
it is.
one point that makes you think Kirk Levitt may have a chance. I think Kirk Levitt has some speed in his feet, and he's going to have to be light on his feet
He's
because
also a little longer. Yeah.
when Gable goes, he goes. He's slick. He really is slick. But I'm intrigued a
I
little
think
bit
Kirk
about
has to
that.
wrestle a smart match. You got to think about it. What's Gable's his go behinds and stuff like that. So if you stay out of falling for some of those traps and kind of like, I could get in here, wrestle smart, wear him down. Gable's been through a whole season now, but still, like he's just been beating up everyone. But if you really wear him down, you know what I mean. Kirk might have a chance to stay in there and steal one.
We've seen
I remember
Feldman
back
wear him
in
down.
the NCAA tournament 2 or 3 years ago, I saw Lucas Davidson take down Gable. You know what I mean? One of the only guys I've ever seen take him down.
Yeah, the only crink in the armor we seen was in the Feldman match. We noticed. Look,
That is a good point.
someone's fatigued.
That is a good point,
A
Don.
little bit.
We haven't seen Gable taken to the limit. So
Yeah.
what does he look like if he's taken to the limit by a Kirk Levitt, someone equal man of his size and stature? You know what I mean? We
In
haven't
front
really
of
seen
cameras
that. We
as well.
don't know.
In front of people and cameras and everything.
Yeah,
You
in
know,
a
that
big moment.
plays another role.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, a lot of people, they'll like daytime soap operas. Us wrestling fans out there, all of you guys, Dom, Zach, this is kind of like a soap opera.
we like wrestling.
We
soap
have no
operas.
clue what's going to happen coming up here. And I tell you, I got a whole list
We'll be
of
breaking it down.
matchups.
We'll be previewing it
That-
even Thursday live for a seating reaction show. But I got other news here, and Dom, hang tight, and we'll let you go, and we'll wrap this up. But here, folks, another news in wrestling: Sammy Sasso retired officially. We were all rooting for him. He made it back, but not quite the same. I do believe he's going to be going into coaching. So, Sammy Sasso, best of luck there. How about rest in peace, Satayev? Did I say that right? Okay.
Satayev, yeah. Or Satayev, my bad.
Satayev. Okay.
Yep.
So the Russian, by many, heralded as the greatest freestyle wrestler of all time, won 9 world level gold medals in freestyle, second to only Medvedev. And he had 3 Olympic gold medals, 6 world championships, and he passed away, unfortunately, too young. But
Back to giving shout outs. Can I give a shout out to a Kansas 128-0, their first 4-time champ?
and who's that?
Gabby Kobles. How do you say Koppes? Is it Kobles?
Copes, maybe?
Copples.
Cops?
Copples?
Copples?
Don't ask
maybe?
me. I'm not good with names.
Gabby Copples.
I gotta
All right,
hear it.
you fit right in, Dom. Hey,
The thing. Yes.
I gotta hear it.
Yes, you're part of the team now. Okay, look, you got to tip your hat to. I'm all for promoting girls wrestling. Quite frankly, you can make the case girls wrestling kind of helps save boys wrestling a little bit. But yeah, I'm all for it. When you see something like that, be anxious to watch that girl in the college ranks and see. You know, it's tough to gauge. You're out there at Kansas. Where are you? What?
Illinois.
Illinois. That's
Illinois.
right. Okay.
What was your high school?
I can't even pick on you because Illinois is half tough. I was going to pick on you a little bit because us Pennsylvania people, we're looking down.
What was your
at
high school
everybody.
career like, Dom? We just heard what this Aaron Seidel kid just got 200 wins. He's going to Virginia Tech.
That is crazy. I was a 3-time All-State. I had the number 1 seed 3 times in high school. Couldn't get it done.
Where
I
they
believe
have the
I want to say 147 and like 12. And those 12 losses, I mean, most of them came to the same, three dudes, four dudes, something like that. So it's just same guys.
where they have states at in Illinois.
University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana.
Is there a lot of good wrestlers that come from actual Chicago area, right in the city of Chicago?
Yeah, in the city, I mean, if you look at it like Mount Carmel, that's in the city. Austin O'Connor, 4-time state champ. He lived in the suburbs, but went to school in the city. A lot of kids, especially if you're going to private schools, stuff like that, they're located in the city. So we just kind of say Chicago all as in one, depending on what school you go to and stuff like that. It's really good wrestling up there. And granted, you can't give any hate to Southern Illinois as well. There's kind of that Chicago and then Southern Illinois, and Southern Illinois has really picked up a lot since I've been in high school and stuff like that. They got some really good guys.
So you were a high school Illinois legend. Then
He was a big dog.
you go to
back in high
Illinois your
school.
first year, and then transfer to Campbell, right?
Yeah.
And your
I
family.
didn't know that.
And your
Hey,
family's from-
all I'm saying is I remember walking around in negative 20-degree weather. Now 70s and sunny. It is what it is.
Do you ever make it back to Italy often?
Italy?
Yeah.
What, going out there?
Yeah. Do you ever been back to Italy?
So I'm the only one out of my family that's never been back to Italy, and I need to make a visit very, very soon, especially with wrestling being done.
I got an idea.
Okay, I got a
need to go out there.
question too. I got a question right now. Look, I don't care if this fits in some sort of stereotype or something. I don't care anymore. Does your family make good spaghetti sauce?
They make not only
No,
good
seriously.
spaghetti sauce, but good noodles as well.
I bet.
Okay,
I bet.
because all I know is I hear about Italy. People go.
I went to Italy just
What was the
recently,
food
about a
like
year.
over there?
Unbelievable, Dom. And you gave me the idea. You said you got to go to Italy. Kelly's been bugging me saying we got to go to Italy again. Let's go to Italy. Do a BEG live stream, baby.
Well, I'll do one better for you. I have some connections out there. We could get into the national team facilities and possibly even get a little roll around and talk to some of their guys and stuff like that. I know a lot of the USA people from USA wrestle for Italy. You know what I mean? For their national team and stuff. So it'd be really cool. I think we could get the insights on what's going on in Italy and stuff like that as well.
Wow. Not only did we bring him in for his brain and his voice and his talent, but now he's got access, folks. Unbelievable.
Now that we're over 10,000 subscribers,
we need to get out in Italy.
we actually need some wrestling expertise. I've been fooling people for 2 years now.
Me too, Dom.
I carried this ship for 2 years. Yeah, now let's bring some actual experts in here, please.
We need some BEG Technique Tuesday.
I love it. I love it, Dom. Oh, listen, we're going a little long, but Dom, I'm going to connect with you after the show, and we're going to iron out this schedule going forward. But listen, man, very grateful, very excited to have you as part of BEG Wrestling here going forward.
Hey, did Joseph ever give you some chin music?
Some chin music?
Yeah,
fight
high and tight, uptight.
Come on.
Pitching
I used to
the
be bigger
baseball
when
in
we
the
were younger.
backyard.
He's bigger
gave-
now,
he
but I
gave
used to be
Joseph
bigger younger. Joseph got my knee. You
That's
can
what I'm
make a
talking
sandwich
about,
out of
Tom.
the knee in the grass. I don't know what that's called, but that's where his head was. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Back in the
that's what
day.
I'm talking about, baby. How about giving a little chin music on BG Wrestling here going forward, folks? Dom Zacconi.
Welcome.
That's
aboard,
all I
buddy.
got, folks. Like and
Appreciate
subscribe
you
to the
guys.
show. And we got a lot more coming, folks, as we just got the tip of the iceberg here. So until next time, folks, like and subscribe to BEG Wrestling. And this is Dom Zacconi, folks. We will be back. Thanks, Dom.
Bye-bye.